Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Hobsquatch. Oh. This isn't a fast food cup, is it? Hey guys. Today I'd like to talk to you about something that I've been working on for Hobsquatch, and it's for races. Now, there's not going to be a lot of races, a lot of RPGs that I've seen. They tend to expand later on, and I think that if there's any expansion to be doing, that's when I'm going to do it. The race that I have to showcase for you guys is actually the Dwarves. Now, this is going to be a video that's kind of off topic from the sequence of videos that I've been making, but I actually think that that's pretty exciting because I'm going to expand this a little bit. I want you guys to be able to take more from this than just, I'm making these game mechanics. I want you to know the setting, the lore, the races, the beasts, and I'm going to try to bring that to you in a way that feels natural, smooth, and outside of me actually making the mechanics of the game. These are going to be like separate things. I have two people I'm working with, Mark Goldfine, who I've mentioned previously, who's doing our art. He's making us a logo, and he's really, really good at that stuff, by the way. Catch him at Mark Goldfine Art on Instagram, and you can see some of his finished work. And I'm also working with a guy named Joe Younger. He's helping me get the lore process kind of rolling smoothly, and if anybody's going to dig holes in their story, it's going to be me, and I'm going to have the biggest shovel, and he's going to help me fill the holes. That's something I'm excited about because now I feel like this ball that I got rolling by myself is going to be rolling a little bit faster now and way more efficiently. So we really have something here that I think we're going to actually be able to use. The Dwarves in particular, normally one of my favorite races in any RPG setting, especially Dragon Age, because the Dwarves in Dragon Age, they're an underground lifestyle like a lot of Dwarves are. And I really like the city they're from. It's called Orzammar. It's a lot to do with like smithing and a caste system, which is like your class in society anyway. And they would have like the dusters, the warrior caste, the smithing caste, things like that. And I've just always loved it. I've always thought it was cool. I thought it was hilarious that they were scared of the sky.
The dwarves have always been cooler than everybody.
And I wanted to implement something like that, and I wanted the culture to be very similar, but I did want the dwarves to be a little bit different, possibly even if only aesthetically. But I do have something that is a little bit more, I believe it's a tiny bit different lore-wise. What I have now is these, they're stone-like people, because the dwarves and the stone are such a big thing in so many settings, and I think that that's something that really needs to be struck home here. And with these dwarves being somewhat made of stone, I think that is a really cool element. I think that we're coming to a place here where I think we can make a different RPG without making it seem like it doesn't make sense. So far, all we have are these stone dwarf-like beings that their skin is still flesh and bone, but it's like infused with the stone, and the way that they're born is a little different than the way other races are going to be born. They're going to kind of come off of the backs of these titans, which are like these ancient beings, and the titans are going to shed this molten magma, and it's going to fall off of their backs, and when that magma hits the ground, it'll crack, and the dwarven baby will come out. And the dwarven baby will be known as a cinder, because this baby's gonna, kind of be like a magma-infused type of infant that has some abilities to maybe crawl around and stuff as soon as it's born, like a lot of animals do. And I think that's a really good framework for these dwarves. We're still working out some details with them lore-wise, possibly even some things about how they look, how they're placed in the world. But basically, they're going to be underground mountain people, and they're going to be so far off from the rest of the world that seeing one of them is going to be kind of a sight. It's not going to be like, oh, that's a dwarf, you don't see that every day. Some people are going to be like, what is that thing? That thing scares me. Its eyes are made of stone, and so is its skin. To help explain in a little bit further detail, I invited two of the voices in my head to come out and let you guys know what these dwarves are really about in better detail. And the first one is, as always, very terrifying. And I'm very glad that he can talk to you instead of only me. Alright, I'm going to move you over to my friend Zazan in my head now. Hopefully he'll be able to explain the dwarves a little bit better to you and leave me alone for like 2 seconds.
The Dwarves. A people residing in underground cities with their nexus in the mountains. The rocky texture of their skin is only complemented by the stonework inlays that appear to have been engraved into their flesh. Long beards and a short but stout stature are another inflection of their being. The dwarves are born as cinders that emerge from cooled magma that sheds off the backs of titans. As a cinder, their bodies resemble the shape of an infant, with veins of magma coursing throughout their bodies. A titan of higher status will bear dwarves of higher nobility, and as a result these dwarves are given gemstone inlays in their foreheads that may be one single stone or represent an entire crown. The stonework engravings in the commoners decide the roles that a specific dwarf will have in its society, along with a single engraving to symbolize the titan they were born from. Could your blade pierce the stone flesh of a dwarf?
And also here we have with us my good friend Salaman. He's another guy in my head, not a demon. He's not a demon. He's also going to help explain the dwarves.
The cycle of life and death for dwarves, as well as how they are cared for by their kin, is most fascinating. In youth, cinders are closely guided and watched by the Cinder Society, an organization which is tasked with determining the roles of the dwarves within their culture, as well as engraving their flesh with intricate patterns to reflect not only the societal position that they occupy, but also the titan from which they are born. As for the demise of the dwarves, they gradually harden throughout their life and become more and more stone-like, as the molten blood that once pumped through their obsidian heart completely solidifies into rock and they die. Within a few weeks of their passing, the flesh of the dwarves solidifies completely and they turn into a statue. This brings our attention to how they are cared for in their deaths. Death masons are charged with the maintenance of the deceased, most being positioned in rows throughout city cemeteries, posed to reflect their purpose or dignity. Nobles, however, are placed in locations of great historical importance or value to the society. The care provided by the death masons extends, but is not limited to, the maintenance of the statues as well as retouching them as time weathers the stone. These are just but a few of the many intricacies of this glorious society, and through time we shall uncover it all. But until then, remember to tread safely along your path, and if you encounter a dwarf, please be respectful.
As always, I thank you guys for watching, enjoying the content, giving me feedback. Hobsquatch, 6th video, outside the sequence, out. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.